This is the solar array that I have mounted on my south deck. I just wanted to show you how I built the framing to support this solar array. Now this thing is adjustable so that I can put it up high in the summertime or I can put it down low in the wintertime. But this is a little bit busy, so let me show you with a little superimposed cartoon how I did this. Now this is basically the frame structure. Now if you look, the bottom piece is bolted to the deck, and I made several of these, I think about 10 of them, but let me show you here. There's 3 of them set out right here, so you can kind of see how I set them up. Keep in mind there's about 10 altogether. Now this is a little bit too busy to be able to explain to you how I built this, so let's go back to the single frame. Now I didn't mount the solar panels right to this frame. What I did was I built another frame to mount to this setup, and it looks like this. And the reason I did this was I could hinge it at the top like you saw there a minute ago, and then I could move the bottom up and down and change the position so that when the sun moves in different places during different times of the year. Now to set it, that little piece that you just saw attached there, now that's a setting that's for the high setting. Now that thing swivels. It's on a hinge, and it moves to the right, and it folds right up into the frame so that you can lay the whole thing down. And when you put the whole thing back together, it looks kind of like this. And now we'll superimpose that back onto the main picture here of the deck, and maybe that'll make some sense. Now we're going to walk around here a little bit, and I'll show you some individual pieces, but I did this up front here to maybe give you an idea of how it's put together, because it may be a little difficult to see that when you're looking at the little pieces of it and so forth. So I hope this helped. And these are only 2 positioned. Right now they're positioned for summertime, and it's kind of they're not optimal for right at June, but they're optimal for about now. And right now it's first part of September. And as the wintertime comes around, the sun is going to declinate more and more that way. So what I've got to do is lower these down. And these are 2 positions. So what I do is, I don't know if you can see this. I'm not going to do it right now, but you can see right here. Well, let me lift this up. You can see there's a little hinge mechanism. See that? That leg up and tilt it down, and down it goes. What I can do is lift that up, fold that under, and lay this down, and back up, hold on there. Lay this down, and then it'll lay down at this angle right here abouts, and that'll put it right on the sunshine, right on the sun at December, January, February, something like that. So we'll get a lot more power out of it that way. But anyway, this is simple lumber, nothing to it. Let me show you some detail on this. Okay, I'll show you some of the detail on this. As you can see, what we've basically got is a framework here. It's a triangle. If you look on the bottom, you can see where the cat is standing. There's a 2x4 running across the bottom, and that's where it's bolted to the deck. And then there's a board here and a board here and one down there that mounts this at about a 45-degree angle roughly. And then what I've got is some frames on top of that, and they're hinged right here. You can't see that too well, but I'll show you in a minute. But they're hinged right here, so that this whole frame assembly can tilt, like this. But there's 2 positions, like I showed you before, because of these little kickstand things I've got. I can either put them up high for summer or down low for winter. But the whole frame moves. If you can see that, there's a frame. Let's get a little close up here. You can see there's 3 solar panels, 1, 2, 3, mounted on each one of these frames. And there the frame goes up, and you can see there's separate frames on each one of these. And they're hinged right here. Let me see if I can get a shot. They're hinged right here, just like below. And what it is the frame is hinged, and but the solar panels are bolted right to these frames. So the frames hinge up and down to allow the two positions. And well, they're pretty hot. I'm just sitting here feeling them. It's quite warm, even though, well, anyway, that's another thing. You want to have them air. You want to have a lot of air circulation around it because they do get hot. I'm feeling this. I don't know what the temperature is, but I was told once that 140 degrees is about the threshold where you can't touch things or hold on to them. And I'd say that's 120, 130. But this is basically how they're mounted. And what I've got them wired, they're wired in series parallel. And the main wiring comes down through here, as you can see right here, and through here. These are the main shutoffs. And what I've got is 2 banks. So they're about 2,000 or 3,000 watts apiece. So I can shut off one and shut off the other. Now, these are probably not the kind of switches you should use, because if you use these too often, what you'll do is you'll burn them up because they get arcing when you shut them off. But I'm going to address that soon.